clock, that clock up there to match the real time.
Who's doing the prayer?
I will.
Okay, well, Rick said he would do it for you.
Okay, well, sure.
Rick, you're gonna be up in a minute.
Good evening, and welcome to the council meeting for Tuesday, June the 14th, 2022. Glad everyone could be here today. We did have to change the council meeting date to accommodate some other issues on our schedule, and I appreciate everyone's attendance this evening. At this time, if you would please stand for the invocation. Honorable Rick Harrell will be providing the prayer this evening.
Lord, we just come before you and thank and praise for where we live in a city such as Russellville, that we can raise our family in a safe environment, Lord, and prosper as we choose. Lord, tonight I just pray for wisdom and discernment for the council members and those in attendance. Father, I pray that we would honor you in word and deed. Lord, I just also ask for you to protect our troops as they are overseas and around the world, that you just give them safety and protection wherever they are. Father, we pray for our country, for our leadership, and for our everyday lives, that will be pleasing and honoring to you. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. This time I'll ask City Clerk, Ms. Skelton, to do roll call.
Miss Caruth? Here. Mr. Harris? Here. Mr. Tripp? Here. Mr. Olson? Mr. Harrell?
Here.
Mr. Westcott?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Gray? Here. Mr. Keller?
Here.
Mayor Harris?
Here.
Mr. Smith? Present. And myself. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Council, you do have in your packet the minutes from the May 19, 2022 meeting. May I have a motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes.
I do have a
Second.
motion and a second from Mr. Keller. Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this time, Ms. Johnson is going to come up and give us the financial report. Ms. Johnson?
General fund revenues for May were $1,440,128, which was 4.7% above budget. Tax receipts were $1,092,409, and franchise fees and permits was $130,292. Tax revenue comparison for a look at city and county are 9% over prior year, and when you look at it, the analysis to budget, on actual basis, we've received $2,274,682 for city compared to a budget of $2,250,428. At the county level, we received $2,624,153 compared to a budget of $2,603,448. So city and county are both above budget by 1%. General fund expenditures for May were $1,069,265. Personnel-related expenditures were $793,206. Utilities and other were $276,059. This was 6% below budget. $1,205,271 more received than expended. May revenue for the street funds was $1,039,599. That was new sales tax of $695,580, state turnback and ad valorem tax of $244,798, half-cent road sales tax was $68,228, interest of $27,710, miscellaneous reimbursements of $2,215, street cutting permits of $400, utility reimbursements of $667. Street operating revenue is 5% above projection. Street fund expenditures for May operations was $188,861. Personnel-related expenses was $115,490. Utilities and other was $73,371. We had a capital spending. We purchased a John Deere 6110M tractor for $166,653 and 2 trailer mount signs for $31,819. In the half-cent sales tax, Schoolhouse Trail Phase 2 appraisals were $6,541. There was a camera detection system of $17,166 and 10 battery backup systems for signals at a cost of $66,730. Sales tax spending was $1,027,475. The COE Prairie Creek appraisals was $460,000. The others were overlay, Vancouver traffic calming, drainage maintenance, and downtown drainage improvements. May revenues for economic development was $103,371. That's comprised of new sales tax of $99,369 and interest of $4,003. There was no expenditures for economic development funds in May. The balances of the various economic development funds as of May 31st, 2022. The 2003 fund was $1,552,041.52. The 2007 fund was $1,024,064.97. The 2014 fund was $590,662.91. And the 2021 fund was $1,328,574.22. The economic development funds total was $4,495,343.62. May revenues for capital assets was $343 in interest. May expenditures $76,900 for equipment purchased for RFD, aquatic center flooring, City Hall AC replacement, server equipment for RPD, and Sequoia Playground renovations. The 2021 1-cent sales tax report is as follows. The street fund has received $9,297,755. They've spent $1,686,357, so they have a balance of $7,611,398. The RFD-RPD capital has received $1,327,503. They spent $292,559. With a balance of $1,034,944. Parks have received $1,949,531 and spent $262,205, so they have a balance of $1,687,326. For the Economic Development Fund / Capital Improvements, they've received $1,328,574 and haven't spent any of it. That's the report for this month. Any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Mayor's report. I guess before we get too deep into this, I would like to welcome Boy Scout Troop 210 for being here this evening. If you would like to stand, we'd like to acknowledge your presence today. So thank you for being here. We certainly appreciate the Boy Scouts of America and all that you guys do and all the learning that you have. So it'll set you up for the future. We're proud of you. Council, in your mayor's report under item 1, consideration of nomination of Jason Ramsey to the Civil Service Commission. Can I have a motion for approval?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion from Mr. Tripp and a second from Mr. Gray. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I have something that's not on the agenda that I'd like to address tonight. If you'll bear with me one moment, please. On March the 24th, 2022, at approximately 11:30 a.m., an active shooter entered the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. By now, we've all heard this story. We know of the 19 children and 2 teachers that were murdered in that elementary school. This incident is beyond comprehension, and my prayers continue to go out for the families of those victims. While investigations are underway of that tragic incident, questions remain as to why a building which has a single point of entry had a door open, allowing the shooter to gain access, and why law enforcement failed to promptly engage in order to protect the children inside. While the answer to these questions are being sought, I have met with the Russellville School District Administration and Polk County Sheriff's Office to discuss how we can better protect the children in our own schools and several options are under consideration. All parties have a desire for the safest of schools. I can assure the citizens of our community that no one involved with school safety resigned to the belief that it can't happen here. Everyone believes that we can continue to learn and improve. The protection of the children and staff at our schools is of the utmost importance. Unfortunately, today, we live in a culture in which protecting our children requires more consideration than it did when I was a child. While I lament this reality, we must face this reality rather than the idealistic situation that we would prefer. As your mayor, I will continue to have discussions on this matter. We have already discussed an additional meeting to determine what we can do better to protect our children. The summer session gives us a little time to plan and prepare. I ask for continued prayers for those affected by the tragic event in Uvalde, Texas, and due consideration of our own children's safety as we prepare for the new school year. Okay, departmental report. Mr. Sedian. Yes. Do we have what? We do have, yes. Thank you.
Good evening. I commandeered Chief Sloan's annual report to see. Yeah, do you have everybody that is watching here know that I've given a 7-minute time limit? The council is obviously concerned as they have their stopwatches and things ready. I feel like I owe it to y'all to give you a report on the recently organized city permit office, which is now called the Fire Building Safety Division. First thing I need to really do is find out why we have an issue with our program.
Yeah.
What I want to do, first of all, Mayor gets 100% credit for this. And basically, in September of 25th, 2019, we went, the fire chief, myself, Mayor Harris, and Sarah went to, the city planner, went to the city of Rogers. And the mayor was looking for a way to streamline the permit process when somebody applies to build, whether it's residential or a commercial. The other thing he was looking for was he wanted to create or build a culture of customer service in the city of Russellville. And also looking into the future, we had a building official that had been here for many, many years, and he was getting ready to retire. So how do we go through that transition? And the reason I say that the mayor gets credit, and I believe it, if there's a legacy to claim and the citizens should recognize, it's this. And when you get done, I think you'll understand. He came to myself and Chief Sloan, and he said, "Is there anything that you can recommend that we can do to maybe streamline this process?" And so we took a trip to Rogers, and what we found is they combined in 2015 their fire and building divisions into one. And why do they do that? Well, number one, it's a pretty sensible approach to reorganization. The city of Russellville, just like Rogers, the fire official, the building official, we receive authorization and are provided direction by the fire code and the building code, and also the ACA, the Arkansas law. There are a lot of similarities in departments. The old, what we used to call the Fire Prevention Division, and what Brian Holstein used to lead, Community Development, the building department. We both reviewed plans. We both looked at inspecting buildings. We approved occupancies. We enforced code. So this is what Rogers did, and I think the mayor came back feeling really positive about it and wanted to look, and obviously the customer service being a part of it. The fire service as a whole embraces the culture of the of customer service. Our short-term, long-term goals were we felt we could cross-train inspectors. What we did is we had 2 additional fire inspectors, or what we call deputy fire marshals, and then there are 2 civilian building inspectors. That would bring with myself a total of 5. And what I told the mayor, I said, we will cross-train. We will cross-train to where somebody like myself will learn some of the trades of building, and some of the building guys will learn some of the inspections on the fire side. We're going to update the website. We're going to create a system of checklists to provide clear direction. A lot of time, when I go out into the community, we used to, and an applicant would come to me, they would go, all I need to know is what do I need to do to build. So we created a system of checklists. We updated a lot of building permit related applications online. We made them PDF fillable, and we wanted to maintain the in-person presence. We wanted to create a greater than 90% digital environment. And the other thing that I wanted to do is someday, when I leave this excellent job, I want to have a succession plan in place for the city of Russellville. So on May 4th, 2020, that's when the official consolidation and reorganization initiated. What have we accomplished, and what are our capabilities now? Well, right now you have 5 inspectors, okay? Us 3 fire guys and 2 building guys. We have a total of 31 certifications and credentials. Now that can be building official related, that can be mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire alarms, fire sprinklers, life safety. But we are all training to do that. That's why a lot of times if you go to a job site, you might see 2 or 3 inspectors there, because we're training, on-the-job training. We are all training and reviewing architectural and engineering plans. We are all performing fire alarm, fire and sprinkler inspections and acceptance tests. We are all performing some form of MEP, which is mechanical, electrical, plumbing inspections. And so these were our goals to try to do that. And we also wanted to upgrade the permit clerks workspace. Those are our gatekeepers to the permit process. We got 2 fine ladies down there at the Public Works office, Nikki and Roblin, that are doing an excellent job. So this is just a few slides of some of the things we've done. They've got brand new monitors with the curve monitor, double screens. What we've enabled them to. I said, look, I want to give you all the tools to do your job efficiently. The other thing we did is when customers, what we call customers, clients come in and they need to look at a map or a zoning map, we installed a monitor to where they didn't have to look around the desk. They could look up on the screen and look at that monitor. Our inspectors have iPad-based inspections and reporting, so they can be in the field. And if they get a heads up, hey, Richard, you got a plumbing inspection on the north side of town, I can pick that up and I can go over there and initiate that. We did a website update. Thanks to James, who's in the background there. He worked closely with us. The fire department did an upgrade, and the fire building and safety division did an upgrade. And so that was one of our goals. Right now, if y'all will ever take the time to go into the website, go into the fire building and safety division, you have a link now to every building permit application and resource document. You can also, what we also did is we also went and chased down what am I on time? Am I good? Okay. We have codes and ordinance. Every code and every ordinance that's related to permitting is on the website. Again, fire building and safety division, you go into the fire department, and you can link whether you want to look at what our fireworks ordinance is, what our plan review fee schedule is, our mechanical code fee schedule, business permit to operate, everything's in there. I do not ever want to hear a customer go, if I just knew where I need to go to get what I need to get done. Everything is in there. That was a big goal. We created checklists like this. This is a single-family duplex townhome building permit checklist, step by step. These are the things you need to do to get your permit. This is just one example. The other thing we did is we like I said, we created new or we updated our current application process. You can go online. You can go through the portal. You can go through PDF fillables, or you can download them and fill them in and bring them by. We still have that available. This year, we're in our second version now. We got a great group out here. We got Sarah with planning, and Glenn and Armando and Kenneth there, and even City Corporation. Now what you have is you have these departments that are part of this EnerGov software, where when somebody submits an application and submits the plans, we can all look at those plans. And every one of these folks here, if you go to the website, you click on permit and licensing, you can go right to a portal, and that portal will take you right to an online program where you can basically go through the application process. This is an example of what we might look at as the reviewers. Basically, what the result of that is, most of our residential permits we turn around in about 48 hours, and we have a very quick turnaround time on our commercial permit applications. Usually, if they're not loaded up, we tell them 10 working days, but we can knock those out in a week. So we feel like we have brought something to the city that will be beneficial for years to come. Again, I'm going to credit the mayor with it, because if he had not come to us and said, what can we do? So, Mayor, that's a legacy you leave. That's all I got. You bet.
Chief, I got a question for you. By the way, as always, you did a great job. You said residential permits usually turn around in 48 hours, commercial are fast. Is there any way yet, I think you've talked about it, where somebody submits an application where they go online and check where it is in the process?
If you have if you register online as a user, you can go on there and you can look. Yes, you can look into it's like looking into the window and see what the status is. In other words, if, let's just say, engineering has some issues that need to be dealt with civil, because that's a common thing on a big project, he's going to email the applicant. He's going to email the design professional and say, I need this. So you could, if you are part of that online process, you can look in and you can see, is Richard Sedian done with his review, or is he dragging his feet? What is it that needs to be resubmitted? Where are we at? And everything's documented.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah.
Mr. Sedian, thank you for that. And if I'd known you were going to give me any credit, I would have given you 8 minutes instead of 7. So, I do want to add to some of the things that Mr. Sedian said, and I do appreciate your presentation. But when I went to the fire department and said, I need help, what can we do? Chief Sloan and his department said, we can help you. They could have just as easily said, not my job, and go look somewhere else, but they didn't. They said, not only can we help you, we know how to help. We know how we can help you. So I certainly appreciate that, and have ever since then. I know there's been some confusion as we transition to this new model, and it's caused some frustration in the community because they didn't understand what we were doing, and that's on us for not communicating better. I know I've had comments like, it takes 3 people to do the job that one person used to do. Well, as Mr. Sedian said, we had 3 people on the job because we were training additional people, so we have multiple people qualified within the city to do that job. And that is a good organization that will train and qualify their people so that you got backup. And at the end of the day, it's all worth it, because now, as Mr. Sedian has so eloquently put it, we now have a process that we can be proud of, a process that can grow with the city as the city grows. And going online, I give a lot of credit to Ms. Jondahl for that, helping us to find EnerGov and pushing that to make sure that happens. So thank you very much for all that. All right, moving on. Personnel Committee, Mr. Harrell, do you have anything?
No report tonight.
Thank you. And Finance Committee, Mr. Westcott.
Yes, sir. From our finance meeting last week,
We have item number 1 is consideration of a resolution that would authorize the mayor and city clerk treasurer to sign a 1-year extension to the lease agreement with City Corporation for the operation of the City of Russellville water and sewer systems. And we present item number 1 as a motion to adopt.
Thank you for that motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 2 is consideration of a resolution that would convey real property that the ConAgra pretreatment plant is located on to ConAgra. And we present item number 2 as a motion to adopt.
Thank you for that motion. Is there any discussion?
I need to make a statement. They've asked us for a special warranty deed. We were hoping that a quitclaim deed would have been good enough, but they asked us for a special warranty deed. It's going to require a little more title search work, and so we need to table this until next month when we have the actual special warranty
Thank
deed.
you.
So, thank you for that, and thank you for the extension of the lease. We appreciate that.
So I have a request to motion, a request to table.
Yes.
So do I have a motion?
That is my motion to table
your
item number
motion?
2. Yes, sir.
And do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Mr. Keller. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 3 is consideration of a resolution that would award the construction contract for the Lake Dardanelle State Park Boat Launch Parking Lot Improvements Project to Hard Rock Construction. And we present item number 3 as a motion to adopt.
Thank you for that motion. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
From our meeting this evening, item number 1 is an appropriation request from the 2021 Sales Tax Capital Improvement Fund, the sum of $489,595.11 to be used for the construction of a 5,000 square foot splash pad at City Park. And we present item number 1 as a motion to adopt.
Thank you for that motion, Mr. Montgomery. Would you put that on the screen, please, so that we can show the community what we're talking about? Thank you. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 2 is an appropriation request from the City Street Fund Reserve, the sum of $4,305.35 to be used as a pass-through for training and insurance reimbursement. And we present item number 2 as a motion to adopt.
I have a motion. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The final item, number 3, is consideration of a resolution that would accept a bid from Western Millwright Construction for the 2022 sidewalk maintenance Phase 1, and that would authorize the mayor and city clerk treasurer to enter into an agreement with Western Millwright for that project. And we present item number 3 as a motion to adopt.
I have a motion. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mayor, that's the last of our items, and I yield the floor back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Westcott. Moving on in the agenda, we'll go first to unfinished old business, which is the consideration of an ordinance setting the duties and salaries of the city attorney and for other purposes. In fact, I would like to address items 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is not only the city attorney, but the mayor, the city clerk, and also that of the council.
Mayor, the extra safeguard having been added to each one of these ordinances, it now becomes the first reading, and I move that we dispense with the reading requirement, read by title only with a short explanation for items 1 through 4 for the first of 3 readings.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
An ordinance setting the duties and salary of the city attorney and for other purposes. This ordinance, if passed, would set out the duties. The city attorney would set out a new compensation system with the additional change as spoken of last Tuesday at the agenda meeting. Repeal all the other old city attorney ordinances still in effect. An ordinance setting the duties and salary of the mayor, and for the purposes this ordinance passed would set out the duties of the mayor and would set out the new compensation scheme along with the additional procedure as discussed at last week's agenda meeting, and repeal all the old ordinances which set out the previous duties and compensation of mayor. Ordinance setting the duties and salaries of the city clerk treasurer for the purposes of ordinance if passed without the duties of the city clerk treasurer for the city of Russellville. It would set up a new compensation procedure along with the additional vote of approval by the city council as the second part as discussed in, last Tuesday, and would repeal all the old ordinances setting out the duties and salary structures of the city clerk treasurer. An ordinance setting the duties and salary of a city council member, and for other purposes, this ordinance passed to set out the duties of individual council members and would set out the salary scheme plus the additional approval of the city council as further discussed in last Tuesday agenda meeting, and would repeal all the old ordinances on the duties and salaries of funding aldermen or council members previously.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Item number 5, consideration of an ordinance vacating and abandoning a portion of the unnamed right-of-way in the Renfro subdivision located at 1303 State Route 124. This is the second of 3 readings. What is the desire of the council?
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules, dispense with the reading requirement, read the second of 3 readings by title only with a short explanation.
Okay, I have a motion for the second of 3 readings. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
An ordinance vacating and abandoning a portion of an unnamed right-of-way in the Renfro subdivision located at 1303 SR 124, City of Russellville, Pope County, Arkansas, and for other purposes. This ordinance, if passed, would abandon and vacate 25 feet of 50-foot unnamed right-of-way in the Renfro subdivision located at 1303 SR 124, Russell, Pope County, Arkansas, as further shown in the aerials labeled Exhibits A, B, and C, and the legal attached label of this resolution as Exhibit D.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Moving on to item 6 and 6A, I would respectfully request that the council consider 6A, which would be a similar ordinance to what was read the first time, but removing Section 14, Item 1, relating to owned and operated by an agency of the United States government. There was some confusion, I guess, by almost everyone relating to what that actually meant. By removing that statement, then I think it clarifies the intent of the ordinance. What is the desire of the council?
Mayor, just to offer some opportunity for discussion if necessary, I move that we suspend the rules, dispense with the reading requirement, read 6A by title only with a short explanation for the second of 3 readings.
6A would be the first.
Well, 6A, does it change it enough to substantially make that a first reading?
Yes, because it reduces one. I thought about it, but
Okay.
yes, it would.
Okay. Then my motion is for the first of 3 readings.
This is only for 6A.
For 6A.
If the only thing that it removed is the exemption portion, and I understand that would, by the parliamentarian saying that would be a substantial change, but that's the only thing that we've changed in the ordinance, to keep it on that 3 months from what we started last month. Would it be prudent to potentially do it the first of 2 readings for 6A, since we've already had that first reading of everything except for the exemption?
We're not obligated to that.
This council is certainly
3.
entitled to
Sure.
pass after the first, second, or third reading with the majority rule, yes, Mr. Keller. So we could theoretically pass this at the next council meeting with a second reading if that's the desire of the council.
That was just something to throw out there, just a thought for the group.
Okay. All in favor of this reading? I'm sorry? Who did second that? Mr. Gray?
Yeah, we did.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Tripp? Okay. Mr. Harris? Let's see, we need six, no, we need six. So give me a roll call.
Mr. Westcott?
Now, again, this motion is to read it the first of three by title only. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Gray?
Yes.
Ms. Caruth?
Yes.
Mr. Harris? No. Mr. Tripp?
No.
Mr. Harrell?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
So you have 5-2.
We need six. Right. Okay, so motion fails. Any other discussion
Okay.
before we move on?
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules, dispense with the reading requirement, read the first of two 6A, the first of two readings by title only with a short explanation.
Second.
Okay. Before we move on, it's been brought to my attention that as mayor, I have the ability to vote on that last motion for passage, and I will vote aye. And so the motion
Nice.
will pass for the first of three readings on 6A.
Thank you.
An ordinance requiring a license to operate an emergency medical service ambulance or ambulance service within the city of Russellville, Arkansas pursuant to the authority granted to the city under the Ambulance Licensing Act, defining terms, establishing regulations for operation of emergency medical service ambulances within the city limits, declaring certain acts to be unlawful, providing certain exemptions to this ordinance, prescribed penalties for violations of this ordinance, and prescribing other matters pertaining thereto. This ordinance, if passed, would require that any type of emergency medical service or ambulance service within the city limits of the city of Russellville that operates within those city limits to have a license from the city in order to operate it, and would set out the various definitions and sets out a licensing scheme that RFD would be in charge of providing the applications and the licenses upon approval by the city council, and would set out certain requirements that a licensee would have to follow, would make an unlawful act any person operating an emergency medical service or ambulance service without a license to be an unlawful act, providing the penalties and exemptions to this ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Moving on to item 7, consideration of ordinance approving the private club permit for Beezer's Fine Billiards and allowing the application of the required permits from the Arkansas Alcoholic Beverage and Control Division. This is the second of three readings.
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules, dispense with the reading requirement, read the second and final time by title with a short explanation.
Second.
A motion is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Have one no. Motion passes.
Mr. Harrell?
An ordinance approving the
Tell who
private club permit for Beezer's Fine Billiards and allowing for the application of the required permit from the Arkansas Alcohol Beverage Control Division per Arkansas Code Annotated Section 3-9-222 as amended, and for other purposes. This ordinance, if passed, would grant the permit to Beezer's Fine Billiards as required by the Arkansas Code Annotated Section 3-9-222, would allow Beezer's Fine Billiards to apply with the Arkansas Alcohol Beverage Control Division to apply for a on-premise alcohol consumption permit.
Motion to adopt.
I have a motion to adopt. Second.
Second.
Discussion. To the owner of Beezer's, you have a restaurant actually in service today. So if I go over tomorrow, I can sit down and eat a meal at your restaurant. Is that correct? Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? No. I have one no. Thank you. Moving on to new business. Item number 1, This is a public hearing regarding the mayor and city clerk to apply for a community development block grant program to aid the Arkansas economic development within the city of Russellville. This is associated with an AEDC grant to Phoenix Innovation for some improvements in their facility. I would like to acknowledge that there was some miscommunication in the public notice that was put out, and we're looking for some clarification from AEDC as to whether the notification we put out meets their criteria. If not, we will have to redo this public hearing next month. So I didn't want to confuse the council as to why we're doing it again next month if we get a response from the AEDC that we did not meet their criteria. Having said that, I will now open the floor for public hearing. Ms. Skelton, did anyone sign up to speak? No one signed up to speak. Anyone here in the audience would like to speak on this issue? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing and move on to item 1A, which is consideration of a resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to apply for a community development block grant program to aid in the economic development within the city of Russellville.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Before I mess up even further, there's a lot of criteria. I want to move back to the public hearing, so bear with me. I have a statement I need to read to make sure that I do this correctly. So we will now open the floor up for a public hearing again, and I will read this public statement. A public hearing is being held today, Tuesday, June 14, 2022, at 6 p.m. at the Russellville City Hall, 203 South Commerce, Russellville, Arkansas, the purpose of identifying and prioritizing the community needs of the city of Russellville, determining whether an application for Arkansas Community and Economic Development Program, ACEDP, funds should be developed, and if so, for what community need. Also, comments on the proposed project activities will be discussed, especially those with possible impacts on the community should the project receive funding. ACEDP funds are federal assistance received by the state of Arkansas and administered by the Arkansas Economic Development Commission. These funds will be made available to cities and counties according to need and can be used for community facilities, public infrastructure, or economic development, but must address one of the following objectives. Number one, provide benefit to low and moderate income families. Number two, aid in the prevention of slum and blight. Or number three, meet other community needs which pose a serious immediate threat to the health or welfare of the community where no other funding is available to meet such needs. Public comment and questions are encouraged and will be noted in the meeting minutes. Okay. Having read the official statement, I will now close the public hearing again, and we will move on to item 1A, where I have a motion and a second. Yes, sir. Thank you. Discussion.
Mayor, just for clarification purposes, if something happens and the public hearing has to be redone, then we'll need to redo this resolution also, potentially.
I will ask a member of our audience today, Vicki Anderson. Vicki, the resolution, would we have to pass that again, or is passing it tonight will be sufficient if we have to have the public hearing again next month? I believe tonight. This will be sufficient? Okay. Good. Any other discussion? Yes. All right, hearing no other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, consideration of a resolution authorizing the acquisition of all necessary easements in order to proceed the Schoolhouse Trail Project from 4th Street to West Main Place and Circle Drive Park to South El Paso Avenue through the use of eminent domain and for other purposes. What is the desire of the council?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion. Do I have a second? Second from Mr. Harris. Discussion.
Did we ever get a total number of easements that this could affect? I know that there was a question of like 4 to 8, but do we still not have that information? And if we don't, that's fine.
Mr. Newman, could you make sure the people in the audience on TV can hear you?
Yes, sir, I apologize. No, sir, we do not have a final number. We do believe a minimum of 3 with having difficulty of contact, trust, and we have a church that no longer is intact, been torn down. We have some unknown property, so this is a due diligent process, some out-of-state items. But as we continue to work through, we've done our due diligence, notified, knocked on doors, mailed out certified mail, contacted neighbors, and enlisted title company. And this is the way to move forward with the project.
So it's at least 3. What's the ceiling on that?
Sir?
What's the ceiling on that? So it's at least 3. It could be as many as,
6 to 7. I can get you those numbers if you would like, if it makes a decision for you.
no, I was just
Yes,
curious.
sir. So I said it's the ones that live in there, we've made contact, ones we've reached off, but there's been a couple that we've had issue with trying to communicate with.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, consideration of an ordinance rezoning a certain realty in the city of Russellville. This is associated with 1200 block of West Parkway. What is the desire of the council?
Mayor, I move that we suspend the rules, dispense with the reading requirement, read the first of 3 readings by title only with a short explanation.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
An ordinance rezoning certain realty in the city of Russellville, Arkansas, and for the purposes, this ordinance, if passed, would rezone property from R3 to College Hill Zone, which is located at the 1200 block of West Parkway, Russellville, Arkansas, as further identified by the assessor's office parcel number included in this ordinance, along with 3 attachments labeled Exhibits A and B, which are the aerials, and also Exhibit C, which is the legal.
Out of respect for, I know Mr. Jeckmeyer, the owner of this property, is here, and I should have brought this up, and I'll ask the city planner, is there any need to expedite this at this time? Ms. John Dahl, Mr. Jeckmeyer, okay. So what we've done is sufficient for this evening. Okay, thank you. All right. Item number 4, and the final item on our discussion tonight is consideration of ordinance establishing a preference to Russell resident firms supplying commodities or services to the city of Russellville.
Mayor, I added this item because I'm kind of partial to local people and local residents, local businesses and business owners and so forth. But in this, I think we've got a little tweaking to do, and so I'd like to see this tabled, but left on the agenda to hopefully take action at next month's meeting.
Understanding you want a motion for table?
Yes, sir.
Second.
Second.
Second? Okay. All in discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Meeting adjourned. 50 minutes, not bad.